What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. It's a Sunday without Eagles football. It's a Sunday that I didn't have access to my Raiders franchise mode to kind of see what direction we're going to take that for the last 3 days. So what do? What kind of video can I upload when I have zero content? And I was like, you know what? Mock draft. Let's do our first mock draft. I don't really want to start calling like mock draft 1.0, mock draft 2, because usually my mock drafts are going to be like 45 minutes long. They're going to be like custom slides, and I'm going to go super in depth as to why you need these players and look at free agency, all that stuff. I'm just doing a first round mock. I'm using the draftnetwork.com, which is an awesome draft site. I use it a whole lot, and we're going to go right now and use their mock draft machine. We're going to select all these picks. I mean, not all these teams actually have first round picks, but you know what I'm saying. So we're going to do this mock draft. We're going to use a predictive board, first round, whatever. And we're going to start this. And it's awesome, man. If you've never used this, definitely go check it out. Show it to them. I mean, a lot of people already use it. A lot of people will just make a mock draft, tag me on Twitter, ask me what I think about it. That's pretty fun. I actually don't mind doing that, especially when I'm rocking a dump. Just, talking about the draft is pretty cool. So yeah, man, let's just get into this full first round mock draft, see where we're at, maybe get some good feedback about fans of all these teams. How do you feel about the direction I have for this team, for their needs? Do you agree or disagree? That can kind of help me for future draft content videos, knowing what the fan bases think about their teams. But this website does give them the team needs, not always aligned with the consensus of the fan base, but generally speaking, they're pretty good. So we are here at pick number 1 with the Cincinnati Bengals. And as you can see, for their top 2 prospects here, and I don't necessarily agree with all the orders that you're going to see here. I'm going to go probably off the beaten path a couple times. But at 1 and 2, they have Tua and Joe Burrow. That was the battle that we just saw yesterday on Saturday. Tua in Alabama, Joe Burrow in LSU. Now, I think Tua is probably at like 65, 70%. Wasn't 100% healthy and just barely lost. But Joe Burrow won, and a lot of people are thinking that was his Heisman moment. I still think they have to win the SEC for sure, like go to the SEC championship against either Georgia or Florida and get the job done. That's not a gimme. I mean, LSU did not look overly impressive or overly dominant, at least, against my Gators. So I think if we can run that back, Florida might have a chance. But if Joe Burrow does win the SEC, I'm giving him my nod for the Heisman. Right now, it's Chuba Hubbard, Canadian running back, because bias. But when you look at Joe Burrow and you look at the strengths and the needs of the Cincinnati Bengals, I think that's going to be the pick. I'm not saying right now Joe Burrow is my QB1. I'm not saying he's the number 1 player in the draft. But I think when you look at Joe Burrow, here's an example. Joe Burrow would not be good if he got drafted by the Buffalo Bills when Josh Allen did. Joe Burrow would not be able to go to a team like Buffalo that has very limited skill position players, but maybe a strong run game, strong offensive line, and really succeed, I don't think, early. But you look at a situation like Cincinnati, kind of pairs up with what he's working with right now in LSU. Get a fresh, young offensive play caller at LSU this season. I think that's a big jump from why he was garbage last year to looking like a Heisman contender and first overall pick this year. And you have that in Cincinnati and Zach Taylor. You have at LSU unreal skill position players. You got Edwards-Helaire. So look at Darren Sproles running back. You have Randy Moss's kid at tight end. You have Jamar Chase, first round wide receiver. Terrence Marshall, first round wide receiver. Justin Jefferson, probably day 2, second, third round pick wide receiver. Like, their skill positions are on point, and that is helping all together with Joe Burrow breaking out to the success LSU's having this year. So you look at Cincinnati, they have the young play caller. They have AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, Tyler Eifert, John Ross, if he can get healthy, Joe Mixon. They have the pieces, and the offensive line's not great, but Joe Burrow showed time and time again he could scramble. He can be mobile in the pocket. He doesn't go down on first contact if there's a free blitzer. So I think all those things combined make Joe Burrow to Cincinnati a perfect fit at this given point. And clearly, with the benching of Andy Dalton, they're looking at other options. I think right now that's almost a home run. That is the best landing spot for a quarterback of Joe Burrow's talents. So then we're moving to pick number 2 here. We have the Washington Redskins, where I think, honestly, given their needs, according to this, tackle, you still got Andrew Thomas there, top tackle. Wide receiver, you got Jerry Jeudy, top wide receiver. This is a tough one. This is a really, because I think for the Washington Redskins, you're seeing at wide receiver, honestly, they hit a home run on Scary Terry. Because they hit a run on Scary Terry, I don't think they're going to value wide receiver as the number 2 pick in the draft. I think you look at tackle. That could be a top need for sure, but they generally speaking have always had a fairly solid offensive line. If I'm them, I'm probably picking a tackle. But also, if I'm them and you're sitting here, Chase Young he's the best player in the draft. And, Ryan Kerrigan's not getting any younger. He's not really a scheme fit, but he's not getting any younger. I think they go Chase Young. It's, and I don't think the best pick would be Andrew Thomas because of the whole Trent Williams thing going on. I think Andrew Thomas is the best tackle in the class. But Chase Young's the best player in the class, and if you truly do feel like Ryan Kerrigan's starting to slow down, if you feel like a team that you want to kind of rebuild, get that big contract out the books, maybe, hell, if you're going for an organizational change with head coaches, maybe you get a coach that wants to run a 4-3. If you want to run a 4, hell yeah, they can run a 4-3. John Allen, Deron Payne at D tackle. You probably have Matt Ioannidis as a potential trade piece. Then you slide in Chase Young at defensive end, Montez Sweat at defensive end. Hell yeah. Hell yeah for the Redskins. But I think generally speaking, when you're holding the number 2 pick and there's a generational edge rusher, you can't pass up on that. Even if he's not really a scheme fit at this given time, you kind of need to make that move. So Chase Young to the Redskins. Now we're looking at the New York Jets. This is a tough one. I think there's 2 very easy options. You have Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver from Bama. You have Andrew Thomas, the tackle from Georgia. If I was the Jets, how I would think they would draft, or how I would draft, because this is more so how I think they would draft. I'd get Andrew Thomas. I think if you have a franchise quarterback, which they hopefully have in Sam Darnold, the most important thing to pair with a franchise quarterback is a franchise tackle, which they do not have at all. They have not very good tackles, but I think they're going to go for the splashy move. They want to get some hype. They do need it because I think Robbie Anderson's going to walk at free agency. So I'm going to have the Jets select Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver from Alabama. He's a game changer. Don't get that wrong. I do think it's close. It's not like, oh my God, they messed up and taking Jerry. I just think there's maybe a little bit more value in Andrew Thomas because of a fairly strong offensive tackle class. He's the most complete. I think he's the safest. But then again, it's a strong offensive tackle class. They pick high in the second round. Maybe they'll be able to get a tackle that slips out of the first there. And they also got the best wide receiver in the class that's going to immediately be a wide receiver 1 to pair with. You can put Jamison Crowder in the slot. And then you got, Herndon's a nice young tight end weapon as long as he can stay on the field. So, I mean, they can't really go wrong with Jerry Jeudy, and I think they'll make that big-time splash. So the next up, we have the Miami Dolphins. Now, this is going to be a mock draft that I think Dolphin fans are going to hate. I was talking to my buddy who's a diehard Fins fan. I was kind of rattling off him how I would approach this draft for them, and he went, you know what? Do it. Let's do it. Look at, first of all, if I was the Dolphins here, I would trade this pick back. You don't get your quarterback. You got Rosen. Give Rosen a chance. Build your team just to see if you got something in Josh Rosen. You'll get a first round. I think you can look at Denver, maybe want to trade up if they really want a quarterback. I don't know. Hell, when I get to this pick at 9, I might not even pick a quarterback if there's one on the board. But Denver could. I think Tennessee, sure as shit, might be wanting to try to trade up and get a quarterback. Tampa might want to try to trade up. But I think they can recoup a future first rounder by moving back within this first round, still having 3 first-round picks, and get another first-rounder next year, so that if you don't get a QB for the Dolphins, if Rosen doesn't work out, you have Justin Fields, you have Trevor Lawrence. Next season, you have 2 first-round picks to operate and maneuver within that first round. That is how I would go for the Miami Dolphins. But I can't trade, so I'm sitting here at 4. Okudah could be a nice pick. Pair that with Xavier Howard. That's a nice secondary, but clearly that's a tough pick. I think Brian Flores is going to be nitpicky. If Minkah Fitzpatrick wasn't working in their scheme, and they had that whole issue with him and Flores, I mean, it's just tough. So I'm going to have them just go the most boring. But I guarantee you, if this draft fell out how you're about to see, because I'm picking the picks for the Miami Dolphins, it would be the best possible draft that they could have. So at pick 4, I'm starting things off with Andrew Thomas. We're going under the assumption that you're going to give Josh Rosen, I rated him as my number 1 quarterback 2 years ago. I still think there's some talent there, but you got to give him a chance. He's played by the worst offensive line in the league last year with the Arizona Cardinals. And then after you flip Tunsil, play with the worst offensive line this season. The whole is he bitten out Fitzpatrick, all that stuff. I think that the Dolphins are doing a smart decision. He's not ready. Don't throw him out there and kill his confidence. Have Fitzpatrick play this season. And then maybe you watch this video, you draft like I do, and you'll see what all's said and done here for the Miami Dolphins. So they're going Andrew Thomas. They're getting a franchise left tackle, immediately replacing and recouping the talent they lost with Laremy Tunsil. So going to pick number 5, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Their secondary is horrendous. Very easy pick, Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. They drafted Ohio State corner last year. I can't remember his name off the top of my head because literally I recorded this impromptu. What is Kendall Sheffield? Go get another one. Okudah's best corner in this draft class. I don't know if Trufont's washed or what have you, but that secondary is not good whatsoever. Obviously, Keanu Neal getting season-ending injury after season-ending injury as a Gator fan pains me. But if you can get him healthy, a guy like Okudah as legitimate lockdown, put him on an island corner upside, I think that is a very easy pick to be made for the Falcons. Given the fact that Chase Young's on the board, I think corner or edge is where they need to go, and the best corner, without a shadow of doubt, is still there. And you look down, AJ Epenza. I personally have Epenza more as a 3-4 end than a 4-3. I think he is scheme flexible. He's 6'6", 285. He's more built to be a 3-4 end, I personally think. But anyways, now we have the Giants at pick 6. Said they need edge, linebacker, corner, wide receiver. Makes sense. For me, I'm going wide receiver. They're getting CeeDee Lamb. You have your quarterback there. I don't personally rate Tristan Wirfs as the 8th ranked prospect. He's going to slip a little bit. I think he's solid. I think he's a first rounder, but I'm not buying him as a top 15 player in this draft. So this is where I just, even though you might see a tackle there and you look at the Giants, boy, they need a tackle because Solder's not good, and I don't even know who they have playing at right tackle right now. But given the value on the board, I think CeeDee Lamb, a legitimate baller, legitimate top 10 pick. You look at the wide receiver core right now for the Giants. You have Golden Tate, slot. Sterling Shepard, slot. You got, Darius Slayton could emerge or something, but get your wide receiver one. Kind of similar to the Jets. Get a guy that can be your franchise, can replace Odell. A lot of people are comparing him to DeAndre Hopkins. If you have an opportunity to get the next DeAndre Hopkins and you pass up on him on 6 when you don't have really that outside threat at wide receiver, but you have a young quarterback, you have a strong run game, I think CeeDee Lamb here is the pick for the Giants, even though it's Dave Gettleman, and more often than not, even though he traded for Leonard Williams, might even re-sign Leonard Williams, probably going to draft a defensive lineman. It is what it is. Go to pick 7. We have the Cleveland Browns. They need tackle. They need tackles for sure. I think they have the worst starting tackles in the NFL. Look, literally the 2 of their top 4 needs is getting a tackle. So for the sake of this, you're looking at tackles here. I totally disagree with their tackle ratings. We'll go Wirfs. I do think Wirfs is going to be a first-round tackle for sure. I don't want to overreach here just for the sake of the video because I think Trey Adams personally is my second rank. We'll see Trey Adams go in the first round. He is my number 2 tackle after Andrew Thomas. But we'll go Wirfs. They have to get. He's a nice athletic tackle, very athletic. I do think after the combine, there's a chance that he definitely could solidify himself. It's just I've only watched one game of Iowa, and he did not have a strong game, so I have very limited, opinions, very limited work to base off his play. I watched Iowa play Penn State. Wasn't impressed. I'll just say that. Wasn't impressed with Wirfs, but legitimate tackle, legitimate first-round player, and without a shadow of the doubt, the Cleveland Browns have to get a tackle, have to address that offensive line here in this draft. So pick number 8, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, they need a tackle, corner, running back. I don't know if they need a running back. They just made Ronald Jones the starter. He seems to be fine. I'm going to have them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to select Grant Delpit. You look at the entirety of their team right now, their safety's not strong at all. Their secondary, yet again, is bad. You could go corner if you want. Christian Fulton wouldn't be a bad pick, but I think they go best DB on the board, and a guy like Grant Delpit can play everywhere. He can play absolutely everywhere on that defense. I think it's a very easy pick for a guy that's a top 10 talent. Then we move on to the Denver Broncos. They need tackle, corner, safety, linebacker, quarterback. I think, Tua makes sense here, right? Tua is... you need a QB. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I am going to do. You have them sitting here, the Broncos. What is one thing that John Gruden wants? He says time and time again, I think it was John Fox came on TV and said they were going to get Russell Wilson. He ticked off all the boxes, but Elway didn't like his size. So get yourself the big quarterback. Justin Herbert, 6'5", 6'6", 225. He ticks off all the boxes. Drew Lock can't sniff the field. I feel like they kind of just, I think teams that don't get first rounders, but maybe get second, third round quarterbacks, they will never be scared from using another first round pick because I don't feel like anything has come out of the Denver Broncos camp saying that Drew Lock can be their guy. So maybe you can get spin into a Tom Brady scenario where if Herbert's your guy, Drew Lock looks promising, you can flip him for picks down the line. But I think given the fact that what Herbert can bring as a playmaker, the desperation that Denver has, they have to win. Denver has to start winning. They're not selling. They weren't sellers at the deadline. They held on to Vaughn. They held on to Chris Ayers. They still think that they're a QB away from contending in the AFC. So there you go. There's your quarterback. They don't have him on the roster. You're not going to get one in free agency. Herbert is a John Elway QB. So now we have the Raiders at pick 10. We got wide receiver, linebacker, corner, edge. Easy pick. Finally get yourself a linebacker. Freakiest linebacker in the class, Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. Beautiful. He's day one starter. Get that defense right. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals. They need tackles, edge, interior offensive line, all that stuff. For me, I'm going with Derek Brown. I think you could go tackle. There's, at 11, there's not a lot of value left at tackle. So you look at that defense. They're 3-4 defense. Who's on the inside? You got aging Corey. There's no one really on that front three that's dominant. All the pressure is coming from old ass T. Sizzle, and Chandler Jones is one of the most underrated defenders in the NFL. But on that front three, get a monster like Derek Brown that can play anywhere. He can play nose tackle. He can play defensive end. If you have some sub package, you go 4-3. He can play anywhere. I think he is the most versatile piece to help out this defense for the Arizona Cardinals. And their defense needs to get top priority in this draft. Pick 12, we have who we got here? The Detroit Lions. They need linebacker, corner, interior offensive line, wide receiver. All right, well, they need corner. We'll go Christian Fulton sitting there, right? You have the whole issue with Darius Slay. Is he still going to be on the roster next season? That could make things even more weird. But still, looking at the roster, assuming Darius Slay is going to be back, get his partner in crime, Christian Fulton, legitimate corner. Doesn't like the tackle. If that's an issue, that could potentially write him off Matt Patricia's board. But I think, generally speaking, you just want the best cover guys. Darius Slay's not a big, renowned tackler. I think Christian Fulton would definitely help out that defense. We have the Jags at pick 13. Wide receiver, linebacker, tight end, corner, running back. Why do they need a running back? Okay, so we're sitting here. They need wide receivers. They need a big wide receiver. You need to get your Alshon Jeffrey. If Nick Foles has got to be your guy, which, right now it's up in the air between Minshew and Nick Foles is going to be. But you need to get that big outside jump ball type player. I absolutely think that would be a great pick. They could go DB, to be honest with you. There's not a lot of value here at pick 13 at DB. So let's get them their jump. Henry Ruggs is your speedster, but I think they have their speed in DJ Chark, right? So you got to get that jump ball guy. And I think T. Higgins. I think looking at prospect 16, T. Higgins is that Alshon Jeffrey type receiver that Nick Foles has dominated with. Every time Nick Foles has looked elite as a passer, he's chucking dimes to Alshon. They don't have that type of wide receiver. Even though Chark's 6'3", he's a deep threat. Conley, he's kind of long, deep threat, not jump ball type receivers. T. Higgins is the best jump ball receiver in this draft. Solid athletes. Can be interesting to see where he tested the combine. That could affect his stock positively or negatively. But I think right now, when you look at the wide receiver core, Marquise Lee's going to be gone. So there's going to be that spot that can be freed up at the wide receiver core. Probably Keelan Cole's gone. I think T. Higgins is a great fit here for the Jags. So they already have speed. Get the possession jump ball type guy that you get in Higgins. So we move it on to the Chargers. They absolutely have to reach for a tackle. And that's why I had them selecting Trey Adams from Washington. Trey Adams is a guy, last 3 years, could have been considered first-round picks, but he's had injuries. As long as his medical's fine, he's definitely not going to be in the 90s. He's going to be a first-round tackle, and we've seen this year. The Chargers are terrible at protecting Phillip Rivers, so get the best tackle available. And I think Trey Adams at 14, that's a good pick. Not a reach, not nearly as big as this predictive board may lead you to believe. Now we have the Tennessee Titans who are laughing for this scenario. You're getting Tua, getting your brand new quarterback. You're moving on from Mariota. Get another Hawaiian gunslinger. I think Tua at 15. That's good value, man. I think Tua is going to be one of those quarterbacks that gets overanalyzed. And right now he's considered as the number one player. I think the more and more you chalk it up, the more and more he's slowly going to slip down a little bit, like an Aaron Rodgers kind of thing. But I do believe Tua is going to be a nice quarterback, especially behind a solid offensive line, have a great run game. Like Tennessee's kind of built like Alabama from a strength and weaknesses standpoint. Just hopefully he can utilize Corey Davis and those guys better than Mariota has. Going to pick 16, we're back up here again for the Oakland Raiders. They need wide receiver, corner, edge, quarterback. They need a quarterback still? I don't know about that one. So I'm looking here. I think when you look at all these needs, I would probably go edge, wide receiver, as they're too big. So, you still got wide receiver. You got Henry Ruggs, Chenault. Those are your two first rounders. Ruggs is a speedster. That could be a great pick there. But for me, I'm going to have them select K'Lavon Chaisson, edge rusher from LSU. They're still trying to find their edge. You have one in Cleveland Farrell, but you look at the Raiders right now. I'm watching a lot of Raiders games. They're still not getting enough pressure at their quarterback. Derek Carr has been able to work with Tyrell Williams. Derek Carr has been able to work with the wide receivers they have there. But getting out to the quarterback, still a big primary issue here for the Oakland Raiders. So get a guy like Chaisson, 6'5", very, very flexible, just a better version of what they had in Arden Key. I think Chaisson on one side, Cleveland Farrell on the other. You're going to have between two guys that should be getting 8 to 12 sacks each next season going forward. That is very, very good. You're not going to be able to replace Khalil Mack, but you can get two really good guys that are combined are better than what you were getting solely from Khalil Mack. So Chasson is going to be the pick here at pick 16. But you couldn't go wrong with like a Henry Ruggs pick or Yetur Gross-Matos. I really like him, and I do think that after the combine, right now he's graded at 35, should go a little bit higher. So we're at pick 17 here for the Dolphins. Again, people are going to hate this draft. I'm having them going Tyler Bidash. Interior offensive lineman, can play guard, center. For this hypothetical, we'll consider him a center. He'll play a center. So you've gone two offensive linemen. Get ready. We'll keep going. Philadelphia, if you're going with Rosen, you go and get the offensive line. The Colts were horrible. They got Quentin Nelson and Braden Smith with two of their three highest picks, and now they have one of the best offensive lines in football. Two guys can really change things around. You get your two here for the Dolphins, going from the worst offensive line to one of the better young offensive lines in football. And if you hit on these picks, add Andrew Thomas. I think he's perennial Pro Bowl, if not all-pro type talent. Bidash, exact same category. Best interior offensive lineman since Quentin Nelson. Don't mess this up. Go ugly, Miami. Go ugly. Everything about your team's ugly. Why not draft ugly and have it actually look better when you all come out of the draft? Going to pick 18, Philadelphia Eagles. Corner could be a big one here. Diggs, Adebo. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Gladney, but we have to go Henry Ruggs. Speed. We have to get speed on the outside. Now he's a little bit one-dimensional. There's a lot of people right now actually, even though he's 18, fairly high, don't necessarily have Henry Ruggs as a first-round talent. I think I'm almost split right now between Henry Ruggs and KJ Hamler for who would be the best fit for the Philadelphia Eagles here at 18. Like I said, at 16, you definitely could see, the Raiders go for Henry Ruggs. You could see Henry Ruggs maybe go to the Jags if they really want more speed at wide receiver, even though I think T. Higgins is clearly the best pick for them. But for the Philadelphia Eagles, how this board's go, they have to go the fastest wide receiver. So I think at 18, it's either Hamler or Ruggs. We need that speed dimension to this offense. Help out Carson Wentz. Moving on, pick 19, we have the Carolina Panthers. They need themselves a corner or an interior offensive lineman. I think we're going to look at corner, and I'm going to have them actually not go with Trayvon Diggs, who did not have a good game whatsoever against LSU. I'm going to go with Paulson Adebo, a really, really nice playmaker for Stanford. Ball hawk type corner. Looks like James Bradbury could be on the way out. Maybe not, they're going to re-sign him, so I think you're going to have to get a cornerback. I think Adebo at this point at 19, I would have Adebo and Gladney as my highest ones, and then it would go Diggs, Terrell, Wade, etc. So now we're back after the Adebo selection with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They need linebacker because we don't know what's going on with, Telvin Smith. You got tight end, definitely a big need. I think Bryson Hopkins is a really nice tight end, but I don't necessarily know you have to grab a tight end in the first round here. Corner, honestly, they could go corner here. I'm actually going to have them go corner because, screw it. They're going Jeff Gladney at corner. I think Jeff Gladney, he's going to be a burner. He's going to be a guy that has a chance running 4.2s. He's been a baller for TCU. I think last season I got just some weird vibe when I was talking about Darnell Savage. Darnell Savage was second, third round, fourth round during the whole draft process early on. Eventually ended up going in the first round. I was probably even maybe front of that line in that first little group that said Darnell Savage is a first round talent. Jeff Gladney is giving me those vibes right now. And I think when the Jags moving on from Jalen Ramsey, still a Boye, but who else is going to be that corner there? I think Gladney could be that guy. I think that's a good priority there. Plus, Dallas is going to be looking for a DB as well. Make sure you get your guy before Dallas has a chance to pick up the scraps. So now we're here with Dallas, and for them, what do we got? Safety. Who's still left here? Xavier McKinney would be a nice pick, but they need a corner, interior defensive lineman. Kinlaw is still there. That wouldn't be a terrible pick. For me, we'll go corner, and then we'll pull the trigger on Trayvon Diggs, who's been up and down, but definitely has a fairly high ceiling at corner, and that's just my one man's opinion. Alabama corners are boom or bust. I would definitely be more inclined to say that he will boom than bust. Just didn't really have a great game against LSU on the big national stage. Still a really good corner. I think legitimate first round potential. Go to pick number 22. We have the Indianapolis Colts interior defensive line corner. I think they're good at QB. They'll go with Jacoby Brissett. So we're going to have them go Javon Kinlaw. Really nice interior defensive lineman. D tackle. They need to get a little bit better. You kind of see what they have right now. Danico Autry. That's the kind of production Kinlaw. Kinlaw is going to be that D tackle that can get you 7-8 sacks every single year. Now we have the Minnesota Vikings corner, interior offensive line, IDL, safety. So they're kind of looking at all this stuff too. I mean, at corner, you still have, I don't really think at this point you have a first round corner. Henderson, John, I mean, there's some nice prospects there for sure. Interior offensive line, you have Creed Humphrey. That's actually not a terrible pick potentially, but I mean, I don't know. I actually don't really know a weakness here for them. I mean, we can go D-line. We can get Raekwon Davis. There you go. Get another partner in crime that's suitable to kind of work off what they have with Linval Joseph. A guy like Raekwon Davis, monster. His draft stock has fallen. I'd still be surprised if Raekwon Davis falls out of the first round. He's having a down year with Alabama, but he came from a guy that was going to be, in that 7 to 12 range. He's still a monster. He's still a freak. He's going to probably dominate the combine. And, I think a guy like Mike Zimmer is going to be able to get the most out of Raekwon Davis, especially paired with a guy like Linval Joseph, who's a monster, gets a run. You let Raekwon Davis go wreak havoc, try to go get that quarterback first, have interior D-line pressure. So now we have the Kansas City Chiefs, corner, linebacker, interior offensive line. I think they are going to take a gamble on this man right here, Dylan Moses. We don't know what the health is. I don't know if he's going to declare. He might return. I think he should return, but if he doesn't and he comes out like, he'll be healthy week 1, he probably from a linebacker standpoint is more complete than Isaiah Simmons. Not as much of an athlete, but I think you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they absolutely need corner or linebacker. Gamble that he'll be healthy, because if he's healthy, he was probably a top 10 talent. He's going to slip a little bit. I don't think he's going to fall as far as like Miles Jack, but Miles Jack was regarded as a top linebacker, went in the first round. But this is still a pretty steep fall, and I think he should realize this and realize that if he goes back to Alabama, obviously there's a chance he gets hurt again, but if he goes back to Alabama and puts forth even just a healthy season, he's going to be a top 12 pick. But if he does declare, I think falling to Kansas City, that's going to be great value there for the Chiefs, assuming that he's going to be able to play and be healthy by the time training camp comes around. Then we have our final pick here for the Miami Dolphins. Still has quarterback edge. I mean, you look at QB, Love, Eason, Hurts, Fromm. They're still all there. Some of these guys will slip into the second round. I'm finishing this O-line. We're going Creed Humphrey. You're getting, I think when you look at the draft for best players, just ranking them on pure talent, Creed Humphrey probably gets in my top 32 if I'm ranking my top 32 at that 32 range. Baidash probably my top 15. Andrew Thomas in my top 10. So you just got 3 legitimate first round caliber offensive linemen. You're not reaching like the Falcons did by getting McGarry. They got Lindstrom, which is a solid pick, but you got McGarry. That was, they're not, don't pull the Falcons. But now at this pick, you have Humphrey, who can be a guard. You have Dieter, who could be a guard, the somewhat promising rookie that they got last year from Wisconsin. Then you have Andrew Thomas at tackle, put him at left or right, either spot. And then you also have Tyler Baidash, put him at center. So now you have your starting center, you have your 2 guards, and you have a tackle. You're still 1 tackle short. You could probably, draft another one later. But go ugly. You have 3 picks, and I think that interior offensive linemen are going to be unvalued. Now you have, if this works out, which I think it will, you're going to have 3 I'm not going to go all pro, but 3 Pro Bowl caliber offensive linemen. And you have now you give Josh Rosen a chance. Now you truly get to evaluate what's going on with John Rosen. In the scenario that I told you, that they go these 3 O linemen and they trade it back from 4 to get a future second round pick, you go with Rosen now that he has an O line, right? Now you have, you should have a better run game because you have an O line, and then you have 2 first round picks next year. That if still Rosen's not good, if he's not your guy, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, there's got to be talent at quarterback. Next year's QB class is as good as this one. There's as promising prospects as this one. So give Rosen a chance, build up this offensive line for the future of whoever's going to be your quarterback. And I think even though it's ugly, you just got 3 O linemen. I think Dolphin fans truly will go, you know what? That's good, C4, because our O line is garbage. The best thing about every team, Patriots, Eagles, Saints, 49, well, maybe not 49, so their O line's banged up, but you build your O line. You got to have a good O line. You have a bad O line, not going to have a good time. Now, unless you have a Russell Wilson that can make chicken salad and chicken shit on terrible pocket presence, because the O line blows up every single play, which you're not going to have that if you're Miami. Build that O line. For the love of God, build the O line. And my Dolphins fan guy went, you know what? I kind of want Burrow, kind of want a quarterback, but when I think about it, that's the best way. So hopefully you guys agree with me. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills edge wide receiver. Let's just go back to our big board. Who's still available? A Pedza at edge. That's a pretty good pick here. I think when you look, they need a wide receiver, but like Chanel, I don't know if I'd grab him. You know what? Screw it. They need a wide receiver. You need to get Josh Allen a weapon. And I think KJ Hamler, if he does declare redshirt sophomore, could declare, he's going to be 4.3 speed. He can get some jump ball. He's a better version of John Brown. And I think he has legit wide receiver 1 capabilities. You have to get Josh Allen a weapon. I think this can be his wide receiver 1 going forward. Green Bay Packers need wide receiver, linebacker, tackle, tight end. All right, what do we got here? Running backs are slipping, dude. Swift, Taylor, and Etienne all should be first rounders, and they're not going to be in this mock draft. That's ridiculous. So pick 27, I mean, wide receiver, there's no one there. Shenault could be an interesting, like, gimmicky guy. At linebacker, there's no real first rounders. At tackle, we'll go Alex Leatherwood. He was garbage at guard, but seems to be really, really solid for Alabama at tackle. So we'll just make that pick right now. Not exactly sure given the board if I'm comfortable with that pick for Green Bay, but it is what it is. It's pick 28. We have the Seattle Seahawks edge, interior defensive line, corner. I mean, why are they going edge again? They just burned a pick on Collier, and you have Jadeveon Clowney. So I don't know if you do that. Again, man, these running backs. Someone got to pick them, right? Interior D-line, we got Neville. I mean, that's not really a first round. At corner, AJ Terrell's not a bad reach. Offensive tackle, I don't really see a first rounder still there. Jeez, tight end. I don't know. I'm going to trade back. If I was them, I would trade back, given how this board... If they really want an edge, a true edge for their scheme, I think, I guess Penza is the best value. He's a flex. He can go 4-3-3-4. I personally like Gross Matos more than Penza, but given the value, we'll go Seattle gets AJ Penza. That is a huge fall, which I mean a lot of people have him as like a top 5 talent. Huge fall on my board. Baltimore Ravens at pick 29. We got wide receiver, linebacker, edge, corner. I think they go edge, and we'll give them Gross Matos. There we go, perfect fit. Have him go as 3-4 outside linebacker. Very athletic, great bend, great length. We have the Saints linebacker, wide receiver, quarterback. Ooh. If I'm the Saints, what do we got here? Linebacker, no one's really worth that pick. Wide receiver, I mean, if Tylan Waltz was healthy, I could be a little bit more open to that. I would honestly get your Drew Brees replacement. Teddy's probably going to take what the tape he put forward here and move on somewhere. Get a starting gig in free agency. I think he's going to get a lot of money. So that means you're going to have Drew Brees and no one behind him. You're really good. You don't have a whole lot of needs at this point. Get Eason. Jacob Eason, I think, can be groomed. 6'5", 235. Looks a lot like Matt Stafford. He's not as refined as a prospect as Stafford because obviously Stafford went 1 overall. But if I had to get a comp from right now, it's Matt Stafford. So why not have that Matt Stafford get groomed behind Drew Brees for a year? I think that's the pick, man. I think that's the picker for the Saints. This is how the board truly is setting up. Pick 31, we have the New England Patriots, tight end, edge, tackle, interior defensive. I mean, the best. I don't really need how are these running backs slipping? Like, I absolutely think Swift and Taylor for sure should go in the first round, and they're not going to. Patriots don't need one. 49ers don't need a running back. If I'm the Patriots, I mean, if they need a tight end, Hopkins, you could absolutely go Bryson Hopkins, best tight end in the class. Even though I think maybe someone later, like Big O, Albert O, or Colby Parkinson, a little bit bigger of a tight end, not just a pure receiver like Hopkins, would be a better fit. Edge rush. What's a Patriot pick? Like, the Patriots would be dying to go like Terrell Lewis. We'll have him go Curtis Weaver. I think Curtis Weaver, Boise State, a lot of protections. Does seem like a Bill Belichick pick. So we'll grab that. And then for the 49ers here, they need interior offense. No one's really worth it. Linebacker, no one's really worth it. Safety, McKinney's pretty good. Corner, Jesus. There's just not. This board is looking fairly weak. You know what? We'll have him go Laviska Shenault. Offensive weapon. If Shenault is literally like if you combine Golden Tate's receiving ability with play style and splash that with Cordero Patterson. That's a weapon for Kyle Shanahan to utilize on that offense. So, it's not a great pick. That's just how, we kind of went to shit there a little bit. I'm not going to lie. The draft, I still can't believe those running backs were still available in this mock draft. But it is there you go. That's the draft. We got Joe Burrow to Cincy. Best player available. Franchise wide receiver. Franchise tackle. Best corner in the class. Get a good wide receiver. Try to replace Odell's production. Tackle. You need to protect Baker. Best DB available. Get John Elway's quarterback. Finally, a linebacker. Improve that defense. Partner in crime or insurance policy if Darius Slay walks. Get Nick Foles if he's truly going to be your guy. He's Alshon Jeffrey type wide receiver. Protect Phillip Rivers. Get your new quarterback. Edge rush to try to continue with Farrell to replace Khalil Mack. Build the O-line. Finally get some speed. Corner plus insurance policy if Bradbury's gone. Speed. Love this pick. You got rid of Jalen Ramsey. Get that corner. Get another corner here for Dallas. Interior D-line presence. Partner in crime for What do you call it? Linval Joseph, linebacker. You know, I think it's a solid draft, man. I always want to hear you guys think. Like I said, it's not super serious. I didn't really super think about all the needs and impending free agents and all that stuff. But I hope this gives you a good base point of kind of where I'm feeling. I definitely want to hear you guys' feedback in the comment section below. If you guys like seeing like this style, because there is like a draft board and stuff of mock drafts versus just doing the slides and stuff, maybe I can mix in a couple more of these ones. But let me know what you guys feel about that in the comment section below. We're already half hour. Literally, I said I didn't want to do my other mock draft because they go 45 minutes. So here we are, 30 minutes in. But I hope you guys did enjoy. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Plenty of draft content coming soon. Plus, new twists and turns in the Raiders franchise. Maybe a NCAA series, more collabs. Who knows? But subscribe, smash that like button. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.